You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's R&B Divas After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's R&B Divas After Show.
I'm thinking of your girlfriend. I'm leaving. I'm leaving.
And she came back.
Well.
Why you messing it up? You messing it up. I was doing so good too.
Hey, what's up, you guys? You're tuned into AfterBuzz TV for R&B Divas LA Season 2, and we are listening to Michel'le's Epiphany, I'm Leaving. That's a hot song. So, welcome back, Meg Scoop.
Hi, y'all. I missed you guys.
How's it going?
It's going great.
All right. If you didn't know, she's been busy, doing her acting and some other stuff, and she was in the last season of The Game on BET. So anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. I'm Bamm Ericsen. Please introduce yourselves.
What's up? I'm Megan Thomas.
And I am Alfred Nolan Thomas II.
My cousin from a different auntie family.
Okay, so we have a lot that we're going to cover. So let's go into Michel'le first. So Michel'le did her promo, her PSA.
Right.
For the foundation with Tony Cornelius, who's the son of the late great Don Cornelius, the founder of Soul Train. What did you guys think about that?
I'm glad she's talking about her suicide, but I think it's very evident that she is not healed from the depression and the dark things that even made her contemplate suicide, because it's so raw for her. Every time she talks about it, she cries, and so it's still very real to her, and I think she should do some healing, probably talk to a therapist or somebody about it.
But go ahead.
Well, I mean, it is kind of really new. 6 months is not long ago for that to be a situation that, for people to go through trauma in life, I think, especially if it's something to that magnitude and it's, doing it to yourself, I think it's like, the bare fear is you being alone and having to deal with your thoughts, and you never know when that can hit, and when it comes to, it's not like a drug or anything. It's really something that, life is precious and very serious. And I mean, for her to be taking the steps and exposing herself the way she is, and it being so fresh, I think is something that is commendable, as well as something that, people need to know. It's not something you keep to yourself, no matter. Once it's an issue, you gotta let as many people know.
Right. And who's to say that Michel'le is not getting help? But the fact that you have to do the PSA, you have to do it in front of cameras, and then there's other cameras that are taping you, and there's lights and all these other things, and there's more pressure. Right. I guess because you're being filmed for a reality show, and so it could be double pressure.
But I don't think she's crying because of pressure. I really think it's because it's so raw and it's so real, because she says to Claudette that she hasn't spoken to anybody about the suicide. The first time was really when she did the Diva-logues. So for you to not talk about that and express that to people, not tell people about that, this is still so very new, and it's so it's something that you have to talk through and you have to get through. And I think she's at the very, very beginning stages of that. And she even says that, when Claudette tells her that she's, Claudette was like, I'm past that, I'm like getting the muck off me. I'm not in the muck. Yeah. But then of course, Michel'le is like, yo, I'm still there. So I think that goes to say, she's going to really need some time to heal from that, especially because she's so, so real. It's so new to her.
And then also with this being new and she hasn't really she said she hasn't spoke to anyone about it. I do wonder what made her not make that decision. Was there someone that she spoke to, and will that person maybe come onto the show to talk to her, speak to her again? I don't know. It's a lot, but what can we say?
Right. But I will say this, when she started crying at the PSA and she said, I can't believe I almost did that, and I would have left my kids with nothing. Like, everything and nothing. I would have left them. And I think that's probably part of the sadness, the guilt as a mother, that you would have done something like that. And you thought, you know, when she explained last episode that she wanted to kill herself because she felt like her mom died, her grandma couldn't take it, you know. Herself, so she felt like, well, why should I be here? And I think that's part of the reason why she's so sad too, is the guilt. I almost took myself away from my children, and then what would they have had? Nothing. So yeah. That's real though. That's tough.
Real.
And then speaking of another touchy situation, now let's go into Little Mo. So Little Mo tells she goes to Claudette to get advice on what should she do to inform the kids, because she thinks the kids know. And there was a text message that she got from her daughter Heaven, or that she saw, saying that her mommy looked, that her mother looks miserable, and I don't want her to look like that. So Claudette says to her that she has to, my notes are messy, but Claudette basically gave her advice and just told her that, you know, you need to go and you need to let them know, because I guess the first time when she got divorced, she said she didn't tell the kids that.
Just a new daddy. That was crazy. It's like, here's your new daddy. I said, word.
No, she didn't.
The reveal.
That's not.
I was like, man.
Here's your new daddy. No, she didn't do that. I don't think she just didn't talk about the divorce, right? She just didn't really say. It's kind of like, well, yeah, your dad's not here, but we're really not going to talk about why.
I think a new man, ding dong, hello, here's your new daddy. Yep.
That reminds me of don't be a menace in the hood while drinking your juice. Blah blah blah. You're like, are you my daddy? So, but anyway.
So girl.
So then she goes and she calls the kids in, and she says to them, she says, y'all not in trouble.
Right, because they always like, oh, Lord.
They was like, oh, Lord. And so what do you guys think about, you know, the discussion that Little Mo had with her kids?
I was glad that it was able to be put on TV, but I would have preferred that a real private joint and then be like a we talked about it kind of thing. Just because, I mean, it's something that you feel bad for kids to have to go through it all. And then, like, when the little boy was like, I just want my daddy to be around. I want to see him every day. You know, I mean, it's just sad to put that, because, I mean, even though the divorce was real and what they got to deal with, now being on the show, that moment is forever there to be, you know, saw. It's not the same kind of experience. It's like, I wouldn't want that for any kid, but at the same time, being somebody that's in the spotlight or in the public eye, it becomes even more of a, I hope this doesn't on the long term end up hard for them to deal with, because you can't help that she's Little Mo, but it being something that is, and it's her second divorce situation, it seems like it's something that I don't want to see those kids having to deal with public Twitter or whatever, as well as with their situation, which is real sensitive and kind of, you know, shocking and all that.
Yeah, that's an intimate.
They got wild, I expect.
Right. I mean, I think it's a very intimate moment. You know what I mean? Like, to find out that your mom and your dad are getting divorced, and that you no longer are going to have the stability that you've been having. Now you got to wonder as a kid, like, okay, well, whose house do I live at? When do I see my dad? When do I see my mom? I don't feel like that's something that should have been shared on national television, because these children are going to have to be, you know, when they go to school, their friends are going to be like, I saw you on TV and you talking about your mom and daddy getting divorced. And like, that's sensitive. You know what I mean? Like, that's real and that's raw, and these kids shouldn't have to deal with that in the public. So I do agree with you that she should have probably, you know, had that conversation off camera and then came back and talked about what happened. But I don't think that was something that we should have seen. I kind of felt a little, I didn't feel right when I was watching it. I kind of felt like I probably shouldn't be watching this. You know what I mean? For a moment there, I really was like, I don't want to watch this because I feel bad. I feel bad for the kids.
But at the same time, I will say it was really refreshing to see how close she is with her kids and how it's us against the world, and they don't judge their mom for nothing. Not that there was any reason for her to be judged, but at the same time, it wasn't like, I think it's something that you could tell they're going to get closer together as a family. Right. So I didn't mind seeing that. And I mean, it is something for the producers to decide to put on or whatever, but I just think that it was just a weird thing. It's like watching a weird car crash.
And then let me also just mention this. And then Heaven mentions that she didn't like Philip, which is the ex-husband. So this is where it can get sticky because let's think about the whole situation with Dawn and her ex-husband Dre, how Dawn, you know, put some things out there about her ex-husband and he went ballistic and he told everything. So it's just kind of one of those things where it's like, okay, now that if Philip, you know, if Philip is watching, which I'm sure he isn't, but you know, it's going to get back to him that now you have the daughter who's saying that she didn't like Philip. So as a man who's been raising hold on, is heaven? No, heaven's not his. So to be raising a stepdaughter, you know, Philip may think or wonder, I wonder if Mo concocted that and had her say that for the. So there's all kind of little things that can happen through that. So I'm gonna agree with you guys that they should have left that out. Like they should. But
I think the way, I don't know if this is how he meant it, but the way it was edited for the show was more like Heaven didn't like him because of her mother's reaction to him. Meaning she said her mom was always crying.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it was necessarily like, I don't like you because you're mean to me, but I think it was more like, I don't like you because every time you and my mom are talking, she's upset and she cries.
Right, but and thank you for clarifying that. I just meant in the sense of the fact that the stepdaughter is saying this and saying that he's making mommy cry. It could backfire, and now he can have something to say. It's a whole mess that can erupt.
Sons are there, so it's like with the kids half being his, half not. It's so sensitive all around because I would imagine with the controversy that he has to deal with being in the church and the way they broke up, and then going into my son's over there with her and how they feel is how she feels is the dominant, you know, ideology within the house. Of course, as a son, he's gonna hear whatever about his dad. I think that's just, I feel bad for that boy. This is something to me. I feel like,
you know, you have to make, especially, I mean, I don't have any kids, but as a parent, I would think that you have to make an executive decision and go, okay, I know we've signed up for this show. I know this is putting money in our pocket, food on our table. But I think there's a few things that probably as a parent, you should say no. And I think this situation was one that should have been said no to. We shouldn't have been able to see such an intimate family moment that is very sensitive. You know what I mean? These kids are dealing with the fact that their family's broken up. And now the whole entire world gets to see it, which means the whole entire world gets to judge it. And that's not fair to them.
Yeah. Well, let's move on.
Why are you laughing? You don't believe?
It's got so serious.
Because it is. Divorce is serious.
But it got so serious.
Well, yeah, little. I mean, you know what I mean? He's a little boy. So I don't know.
I get it.
Yeah.
I don't have an opinion, but
why don't you have an opinion? You got an opinion. You just don't want to say it. What's your opinion, Bamm?
I don't have an opinion about
Whatever.
it. You know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, and I already know. I'm sure I'm gonna get comments about, you know, why I've chose not to say anything, but I'm just fine. So it is what it is. Leela James goes and gets a tattoo, and I have an opinion. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead, because you're over here, Mr. Non-Opinion. Go ahead. You finally got an opinion. I want to hear it. Go.
I feel she's too old to all of a sudden to get a tattoo. Who wakes up? I'm just gonna say Leela has to be 30. Who just wakes up as 30? I'm saying at low end she's 30 years old.
Yeah, low end.
At low end, I'm gonna give her 30. She's probably older, but I'm gonna say 30. But but at low end, who just wakes up as a potentially 30-year-old and say, you know what? I think I want a tattoo. It's one thing if you have multiple tattoos and you want to keep right. He's completely tatted, and so if it's one thing,
it does hurt.
Yeah, it's one thing if Black says, "Oh, you know, I'm gonna add another tattoo to the arm, to the sleeve, or whatever he does." But to just wake up and say, "I want a tattoo."
So hold on, wait a minute. So you putting an age limit on when you can get your first tattoo?
Yes, I am.
I can agree to that.
Well, I will tell you, 30 is not. If that's the case, that shouldn't be the age limit.
I'm saying minimum. I don't think she's 30. I'm just saying.
Okay, I'm just saying, just a little young.
I'll Google while we're having this conversation. I'll Google her age just so that I could. I
don't think there's a minimum age limit. I think it matters more so what is your tattoo about? What does it represent? What does it look like? You know, I don't think it matters. I think if it was something like, I think she got like a breast tat at this age, I would have been like, honey, you are way too old to be getting a tattoo on your breast. You too old for that. But I think it was a music note and it was on her wrist, and I think it represents, you know, who she is and what she does, and I don't think that's too much of an issue.
It wasn't bad. It just, decisions.
Do you think she's too old to be getting a tattoo?
No, I mean, I was fine with it, but at the same time, I understand where he's coming from, where it is a younger generation's kind of thing than you being a seasoned person, because your skin changes as you get older, and you don't.
So what you mean? Your skin gets too leathery to put a tattoo on it?
It's all leather.
It be hurting more. Is that what you're trying to say? It hurts more when you're older.
I don't know. I mean,
I'm just saying, who in their 30s decide, oh, I think I'm gonna get a tattoo? It's
a lot of people, I'm sure.
Okay. Well,
why you hating on her like that? Why are you hating on Lila with her first tattoo? Maybe she just didn't feel like. Maybe it's just something she always wanted, but maybe she didn't have a support group or some friends who were like, "We'll take you. We'll go."
The way that she was bickering and crying, and it hurts, and I don't want to, and I'm scared of pain. Please.
Yeah, she wasn't ready for that.
She should have conveyed that in her confessional if that's what wanted. But
maybe she did. But they cut that out. Yeah.
All right. Well, my service is not coming up. I'm gonna. Hopefully, her age comes up. But again, I think she's too old to have to all of a sudden wake up and say, "Oh, I think I want a tattoo." Sorry.
I was rolling that Chrisette rolled on the floor when we started screaming. I love Chrisette. She's
I
cool.
like her swag and style and how she comes off.
She talks like this.
She's like a musical theater kid.
Can you whisper the iTunes like that?
Yes. I don't really have a whisper voice. Is this whispering?
Yeah.
I was one of those kids in school. I'd be like, "Hey, can you pass the notes?" And then the teacher would be like, "Megan." I'm like, "I didn't say anything." I got a husky voice. But if you like R&B Divas LA, which I'm sure you do, make sure you subscribe to our iTunes podcast. It's really simple. Just go to iTunes. You can search AfterBuzz TV R&B Divas, and you will see our little podcast. Go ahead and subscribe. It's free 99. Hey. And give us 5 stars. Let us know what you think. You can comment on there as well.
You dig?
I dig.
I dug.
Let's go into Claudette. So now they all were dressed up in their nice Sunday's best, and they all strutting down the street. And Mo says, we look like we marching down, like we on Usher board,
right?
And so they go into this office to meet Rico, who is the.
I thought his name was Caesar.
I thought it was Rico.
Caesar.
It's Caesar. It's Puerto Rico, boo.
Yeah, Caesar.
Get your life right.
Well, go ahead, Megan. Break it down for me, please.
So anyway, what the heck happened was they went to see Caesar, meet with him so he could talk to them about the Puerto Rico project. And so we find out here, not only is it just the song, it's also them performing at Carnival.
Leela James is 31. Sorry.
While we get all quiet, I was like, oh. I thought she was older, and I thought she was older because she has such a soulful voice, and to me, that conveys age.
That's not shade. I'm sorry, Leela.
No, that's not shade for me. I thought she was older just because I didn't think she looked older. I think she acted older.
She carries herself, yeah.
Right. She's an old soul. She's a soulful lady.
Thank you for cleaning that up for me.
Franklin. Patti LaBelle, all in one.
All right, I'm sorry. Continue.
But yes, so of course we find out that they're also performing at Carnival.
Yeah.
Which has nothing to do with rides.
Right, Little Mo.
I love Little Mo. Yeah. I love you, Little Mo.
She's like, is there gonna be rides? No, Little Mo. And so Caesar says that they're not only they're gonna be there in attendance, but they're gonna create a song for a commercial, and then they're gonna perform the song at Carnival.
Right.
And so now everyone thought that they were going to Puerto Rico to
have a good time.
No, I think Little Mo was just being funny. I think
I think they really felt that way. It's just a little bit of wishful thinking. They just didn't probably think it was going to be as big. Because I think what happened was when Caesar started really getting into their itinerary for the trip, it was like, whoa, we working. All right. I think that's why Lil Mo came up with let's talk about these money. Mm-hmm.
How much they getting paid? That's what I want to know.
So there's a couple things. So now this is what they have to do, and Lil Mo asks what's the money looking like, and then it was cut or edited to now Michel'le saying that we're all lead singers and that the song is 3 minutes. Do you think that was cut out on purpose?
Oh, yeah.
Now I'll say this: I think that although it kind of maybe came out of nowhere, I thought that was the best thing for Lil Mo to do, because if you and I hate to, you know, compare and contrast, but when you think about what happened to the ladies at R&B Divas Atlanta, look how they got screwed out of the Grammy situation with Faith Evans because no one talks about the business. So the fact that she's like, all right, what's going down with the money? That was something I felt was important while all the ladies was there, get it out the way and see what's going on and then agree if they're going to do it or not. And so obviously they did agree to it because they do go to Puerto Rico. And then Michel'le asked about, you know, with the song being 3 minutes and we're all lead singers, how was this all going to work out? And then they have 8 weeks to do the song. So what are your thoughts about this whole Puerto Rico thing? Do you think it's going to be successful? Do you think the meeting went well? What do you think?
I think the meeting went as well as it could. I mean, at the end of the day, it's their managers who really do the fine tuning and knocking out numbers. So that could just be them, you know, saying we're down just to say we're down until the ink gets to the paper. But I think it's something that's positive. I think it's one of a great idea, if not one of the better ideas that they've had on the show. I think it's something that allows them to connect to a wider audience as well as, you know, show these ladies in a really cool kind of atmosphere. So I'm excited to see how all that develops. But like Little Mo did, I think I agreed with her because with the way things have tend to go with R&B divas, it's always looks good and then it breaks down with and you could all count to ill preparation and not speaking up. So I mean, it comes off like she was like being bold or whatever as far as just throwing it in there, but I mean, you almost have to do it nowadays just to make sure things are done right, because you don't want to get walked on by accident.
Right. I mean, I think that it's really hard when you have a bunch of chiefs and no Indians. You know what I mean? Like, and that's essentially what all these women are. And when you try to put them on a song, I think the issue comes with you got to give them all equal lead time, and that can be very hard. So does everyone get 4 bars? Like what does that equal out to? And if the song's only 3 minutes, like how much singing can they really do? Whose voice matches up with whose voice can go after? You know what I mean? There's a lot of things to worry about. And I think when you got a lot of lead singers, this is going to be hairy. There's going to be some issues.
And then there's the writing, because, you know, I know Little Mo, pretty much all of them are writers, so they all want their part of the publishing. So it's one of these things where it's like, well, because Claudette brought the idea to them, she's like the producer, so she's really entitled to more as far as some aspect of the business. So it's like, okay, well, will they, within one verse, they can maybe split it, you know?
That's what I'm saying, but even still, like, you know,
it's gonna be
that's where it gets hairy, because people are like, I don't like that. I don't want to go after her. You got a lot of issues like that, and I mean, it's unfortunate, but there's gonna be some drama because of how this song has to be formatted. I can already predict that. Yeah, prediction. That's my prediction.
Okay, and then speaking of background, let's go into Miss Shantae Moore.
Shade, lies.
So Shantae is.
Wait, before we do that, we have to talk about Chrisette.
Well, I was gonna do her last, just because we were talking about background.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, let's do it.
Go ahead.
No, talking about Shantae. I love Miss Shantae Moore. I love her. However, honey, you messed up in the head if you think you about to have these 3 chicks that's also lead singers be singing background on your song. And when she presented it to them, I kind of was like, let me hear how she's going to say this, because, of course, we already know the song is done. But I was like, I don't know how this is going to be. But then when she presented it, she made it seem like, it was okay. Like, you know, like it's like you guys will get to do a lot of collaboration with it. I didn't get that they were going to be background singers. But then as they were, you know, recording their parts, I mean, I would have been just like Chrisette, and I would have said, okay, let me just put this out there. I've never sang background, and I'm not about to sing background. Nah, I don't feel right about this. So I appreciate her honesty. Love Chrisette for that.
I mean, I think it was very cut and dry. She said one thing and decided to, at the last minute, do something else. And I don't know. I don't necessarily chalk that up to her. It seems like from the very beginning, management had their tidbits to want to say about even the idea of doing the single. and I think she got them to do that. But when it comes down to actual percentages and it counting towards her trying to do her album, because everything was in a sense in order to launch her stuff. So I figured that probably, oh, you about to give them all this and da-da-da, then it's not really your song. It could be, you know, I feel like that probably took place, and that made her just try to see if she could just pull one over on their eyes. Like I said, with Chrisette having such an artsy-fartsy, not the norm kind of girl, it was perfect caricature for her to talk and be innocently blunt like a child almost, and everybody else is like feeling the same way, but because they're coming at it as what grown-ups would do, would not say nothing and just kind of thinking in the head, it became like a awkward dynamic where, you know, I was expecting Little Mo to say something at that point after she had said something at the Puerto Rican thing, but it wasn't. It was more just they kind of left her hanging.
Right.
Well,
no, I was just gonna say I think I don't have a problem with what Shantae's trying to do, but I think she should have been honest about it from the jump. When she told the lady, I think she should have told them, look, I kind of want y'all to do background. I got the song already done. Like, she should have been upfront with them so that they could make the decision if they wanted to be a part of it. You can't tell people, especially women of this caliber, that they're going to be doing one thing on the song only to tell them that they're doing something later, because Little Mo is right when she says, what about the split sheets? And for people who don't know, split sheets are what musicians and producers use to figure out like who gets what percentages of the song. So who wrote this much of the song, or who produced this much, because that determines how people get paid when the songs get downloaded or get bought. So she's real about that when she says, let's do this split sheet. I'm with her.
Well, I just want to go back a little bit, because when she was in the studio with her producer and with her manager Cheryl, they were talking about the follow-up single.
Country Cheryl.
Cheryl. They were having this conversation about, you know, the next single has to be hot. The next single has to be hot. And, you know, there was talks of an album. Now, me again, how long ago was that song? Because that song was a long time ago, and you still haven't put out an album. So you're going to put a song. I'm quite confused on why are you putting an album attached to that song that was done over a year ago. Why don't you just make a new album?
Well, because it wasn't released. What are you talking about? Are you talking about? I was under the impression they were talking about an album that was going to be released.
That Jesus whatever song was with the dress, that song came out last year. No,
but that's what I'm saying. I don't think that they were. I think they were talking about her next album, this new song.
I thought they were talking about, because there was a talk about it being the B-side and the being like the being the, I guess, the B-side or something, like a bonus.
Yeah,
right.
I think new single like it being
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So I was under the impression that they were trying to figure out if this new single was going to go on her new album, or if it was going to be a bonus track separate from the album.
Oh, I thought that they were talking about the song that she had and then making it as making this either be a part of either a bonus or just another single to push the wave of this album that she's putting.
I thought it was that Jesus song was a part of the upcoming new album.
Right.
And she wanted to add a bonus track to that with the women.
Right.
But I thought that was weird because it seemed like it was very like a spiritual based album. Then why are you doing these?
Is it a spiritual based album?
Well, that's what I recall doing the season 1, how she wanted to do some kind of inspirational thing. So I mean, I could be wrong, or maybe it was just a song, but my point is it seemed a little off from the beginning, just with the conversation of single, bonus, and if part of the song was already done, then she should have just came to him and said, you know, the part of the song is done. I need you guys to, you know, do your part, blah, blah, blah. And then once all of that happened, when they were in the studio and they were having the discussion about background, then Shantae said, you know, she said that you can play, that there's room for, you know, the first and second verse and for the chorus. So do you think she said that after the fact that the girls felt a certain kind of way, or do you think that she just forgot to say it?
No,
mention it.
I think she just added that in.
Right.
After seeing their faces and how it just went totally left, and you could tell they're the type of people who, like, even if they don't say it, they like to ooze their emotions through their body language. So I could tell they went from, hey, we about to do this to what is going on? And then Chrisette tried to like hype it back up and being like, oh, that's all I needed to know, and I'm excited to do this. But at that point, I think everybody was unhappy with it not going however they felt it should have gone.
Right. I just think that it was juvenile. I mean, for Shantae to be like, ain't nobody looking at me. So even though they're saying it's okay, their body language is saying that it's not. And for her to be like, well, we're done, you know, for the day. I thought that was juvenile. Mm-hmm. And I thought they've already recorded. Let them finish their parts. And then you can decide later if you don't like it. And if you need to call them back in for, but I think that's a waste of people's time. Don't tell me I'm coming somewhere.
And money.
Right. Don't tell me I'm coming somewhere and you need my services and I'm doing this for you. And you already kind of making it look shady because now I'm like, hold on. Are you trying to put me on a background? Like, what is this? To me, it's like that's a bad use of people's time and that's inconsiderate. And so I feel like she should have just continued the session and said, all right, go ahead. Everyone finish what they got to do. And then afterwards talk about it and say, hey, I thought there was some shade there or there was some heat coming off y'all from the body language. Let's talk about it. But that should have been after everything was done.
And then to just end it abruptly the way she did. I felt she was out of pocket in so many ways. And then the fact that singing background is very difficult because you have to adjust to the lead singer. So if you are a riffer and a runner, you can't go and sing on, say, like Ashanti Moore's do background, because if you are a lead singer and you are typically just a runner or you like to riff a lot, you can't be riffing and running doing backgrounds for a singer whose style is not like that.
Right.
So to even bring someone in like a Little Mo or Chrisette who they tend to run in their songs. So to even have them be a part of the song to do background, you know, it's a good thing that Little Mo has background experience, although she hasn't sang since 1998. But the fact that at least that they had the experience, I don't think it was well thought out, and I thought the manager thought that it would be a good idea for the sake of the more women, the more R&B divas on the song, the more attention it can get, thus making it sell.
But I think that's like cutting it short, because if you're going to get these type of women to participate and have these type of quality voices, and influence was the whole I guess hitch to it too, then I would imagine she should have made it more, even if it was just background. I don't think it was necessarily that was the issue, but you're going to take people who have a great talent and make them do something that is, difficult to be a background, but your whole thing is to be an element to add to whatever the soloist is doing, instead of it being something where I want y'all just to go and we're going to make some kind of chemistry of y'all styles. So it was like, even to say that.
Okay.
Y'all stop trying to sing with each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all stop trying to make songs with each other. I agree. I feel like each one of these women are so different. And maybe you guys can do a song together for Puerto Rico because that's a good cause. But stop asking each other to be on each other's album unless everything is, I'm talking about from the jump. If you gonna come to me and ask me to be on your song, you better know exactly what is my percentage. How much of this am I singing? Like, don't just leave it up in the air, because then that's not fair.
That's a good point, too. A lot of the ideas are always so... new when they're presented to the women, and so unstructured that
they're not well thought out.
Yeah. It's like, why you keep coming up to me with I got this idea, and then my emotions get involved and you realize, oh, now I gotta cater to my feelings. If they knew, okay, I want you to do this just like you said, then people would accept what they're being given. But if you're given in a situation that is always wavery and everybody can kind of do their tidbit in to get either more or less or whatever, I think that is not the right way to do it. And
I'm not even gonna front. All of them singing their parts, it doesn't sound good. It's not because they can't sing. It's just the beginning of the song, and all of them in the studio singing their parts. I really was like, I don't want to hear this. I liked Chrisette's part. Yes.
I liked her little part, but they were all singing very
that's
let's
what
just
I'm
get out of
saying,
here.
because it was kind of like and they also didn't get what the point was. They were like, okay, well, I guess I'm singing background now, so here I go. You know what I'm saying? And so they got the wool pulled over their eyes, and they didn't like that, and I get it.
Two more things before we move on. Did you like the song?
Yeah, but I liked it to the point where I didn't feel like anybody needed to be added to it.
Okay.
I thought it was a nice song, but if it is associated with something that's supposed to be spiritual, I thought it's like left as far as a package deal, because I think that's the point, is making it something that draws you into her package. I didn't feel like it necessarily did that. I would have to hear it done to see
this is what I think she should have done. I feel like Shantae, you got the song done, put it on the album, and then create a bonus track, which is like the remix to it, part 2, with the girls and the call and response. So now you got 2 versions of it. You know what I mean? Part 1, part 2.
See, that's how you think, and then you put that on paper and then present it to the women, so they can be like, oh.
And then you get money and from 2 songs instead of just one. Shantae, hello.
What did you think about that she didn't invite all the girls? Michel'le and Claudette was not asked.
I was fine with that because of how bad it went. It was just been more worse. I was like, you can't figure out just adding 3 women to all of them. Would have just been, and then I mean, what's the specialness show-wise as far as the separation between that and Puerto Rico? I think, you know, that should be all the women together. And I like seeing different relationships happen. And if that could inspire collaborations, I wouldn't mind seeing that. But, like, don't add no more hens to the
I don't know. I think she ain't ask Claudette, because Claudette can sing better than her. I think Claudette can sing better.
Stop. Hold on 1 second.
No. Hold on. Don't confuse that. Don't confuse that with the range, because Shantae has that. That's hands down. The girl got it. But I'm just saying, when I'm listening to music, it's something about Claudette's voice. Even when she does the little in between the scenes and she's singing,
I hate those.
But she can sing.
Sounds really good to me.
It does, but I'm just saying, if you're gonna compare their voices, I'm sorry, it's something. There's a timbre in Shantae's voice. I mean, in Claudette's voice that I think is A. I don't think they should be put together, and B. I think it sounds better. Sorry.
Okay.
Claudette's my favorite.
Okay. I will 100%.
See, it's his favorite too.
Because you like how she looks.
Different thing.
But
He's so wrong.
No, Claudette can sing. She could sing, she writes well, but you know, I like range, power, I like versatility, and Shantae gives me all of that. Claudette does not. She gives less. But you know, if you disagree with me, I'm sure I'll get in the tweets or the YouTube messages. That's just my opinion. That's hers. So I thought that it was a little I kind of wondered why she didn't invite the 2, but I can't see if she wanted background singers. It does make sense that she got those because they have background experience. Michel'le is a lead singer. Her voice is very unique, and I can't see Michel'le singing background because.
But hold on, so you can see Chrisette, who's never sung background, as a background singer.
Yeah, because there's more. But Michel'le's voice is very. I can't see Michel'le singing a background part. It's like singing background.
Why?
Like the shoo-wops and the doo-wops, because her voice is different. And it may
not
be
everybody else's too. Leela has a very different voice.
But I don't feel like Michel'le's voice can blend doing background that fits Shantae's style of music. But
I will say that I didn't think Leela did either, though. I don't think Leela's voice would like mesh with theirs. And then Chrisette, the way she sings, I didn't think hers did either.
Okay, well, we have to move on. Let's just go on to one more thing. Now, speaking of Chrisette, so now she had this, she had a concert at the Savoy. And
she called I'm sorry, y'all. She called the Savoy ghetto. They should feel real mad about that.
I thought that too.
She threw them so much shade.
And apparently the promoter Jonathan said that you're gonna go on 15 minutes later because it's okay to keep the crowd waiting. I actually attended this event. You remember?
Oh yeah.
And you guys could not make it.
No, you didn't even invite us.
Yes,
shady.
I did. I still got the text messages. See, I learned from R&B Divas. But anyway, so I went to the event at the Savoy. It is kind of ghetto.
It is. It's
I was quite surprised I was surprised that she was there, but I was surprised that her mom went off as far as the venue. Shantae said that the sound is not so great.
Right.
And I was there. I honestly wasn't paying attention, to be honest.
I mean, did she? Obviously, then it wasn't that bad, because if it was, you would have remembered that it was bad.
Well, I got there late. We have a picture, but I was there, and when I got there, I went straight to Little Mo, and we were going in about some stuff. So I wasn't really paying attention. But that's when I met all the ladies, And when I got there, I didn't realize that they were still taping the R&B Divas. So I hopped up on the platform and I just started sitting down and we just going in, and I didn't even realize that we were being videotaped. So probably why most of it was cut out was because I ruined footage.
See, man, you always messing stuff up.
My bad. But the couple songs that I heard Chrisette do.
Why you look like Anthony Hamilton in this stuff?
I do. Well, but it was a lot of people there. The one or two songs that I heard her sing, I thought she sounded great. But I do think that I like the fact that Chrisette doesn't like to have her fans waiting. And I like the fact that she didn't like that, and that her mom, her manager, was very vocal about that. But I wonder how the Savoy feels about them being publicly dissed about their sound, the venue, it being ghetto, and how black, and how, you know, that's why we don't do stuff for black folk. I was, and this is on TVOne, so I was.
I feel like, look, if the truth hurts, then baby, you better fix something, because it's not a dig at them that their sound system is not great. The sound system ain't great. If it was great, then nobody would complain about it. Fix your sound system.
And they had sound check, and the sound on their earpiece still went out.
See, that's what I'm saying. So it's like I don't feel bad for the Savoy, because I feel like if your stuff is bad, then people call you out on it. You can't be mad. Fix your stuff. Fix your sound system so that you don't have people on a national television show talking bad about you.
And on top of that, the girls were there a very long time. I got there around midnight, and I remember Little Mo saying how tired she was because they've been there since 9. So
hold on, wait a minute. You got there at midnight? That's why you don't remember Chrisette Michel'le's performance, because she said she went on stage at 11:30.
She went on 11:45. Get it right.
Oh, so he did make her? No, she said that he told her to. She said on the show that she was not going on at 11:45 no more.
It was close to 11:45 because when I got there, they said that she had just finished. She was in the middle of the second song.
See, Bamm he didn't even hear nothing.
So, but
came there after the show.
But the show went on for a while, and then around 1:15, it was party time.
So how many songs did she say? How long did she sing? Like an hour?
She probably did, I don't know, maybe like 5 songs.
Oh, okay.
She did 5 songs. So that little one song that she did, that you know, that was just one song.
But that's, I mean, she's a professional. I will give her that, because I'm sure no one knew except for the other professionals in the room that could have they possibly guessed. Like Shantae said, I saw her kept doing this.
Yeah, she kept doing this with her.
Right. So other than that, I don't think anyone knew that her sound went out. So shout out to Chrisette Michel'le for being the most beautiful professional and letting the show go on.
Well, let's go into some. Do we have any news and gossip?
I don't have anything.
Okay. I don't have any to discuss. So let's go into predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I predict it's gonna turn up. I don't know what's going on with these women, but I think they're gonna start getting back to the old fighting each other thing, which I don't like. I actually like this, the LA women, because they bring a lot to the table as far as what I think is great for people who are aspiring to be them to see, which is the performances, the albums, them in the studio, them actually working. But for some reason, I feel like the producers and just reality TV shows in general right now are really thriving off of, you know, bickering between people and that emotional crap, which, I mean, I don't mind and I accept it for what it is, but I want to see them just do what they're supposed to be doing, looking diva and top notch and all that kind of stuff. So, but I from the previews, it looks like they just start turning on each other.
My prediction is that this Puerto Rico song is not going to be all that it's cracked up to be, and there's going to be a whole lot of fighting about it. Yes.
My prediction, I don't think they're gonna go to how it went last year or with the Atlanta. I think there's gonna be drama that's going on, but I think we're still gonna see music. We're gonna see individual stories from all of these ladies, and there's gonna be little pieces here and there. I think obviously the Puerto Rico, that's the thing as a unit that's gonna cause problems, but I think it will go well, but I think there's just going to be problems, and there's going to be a bunch of back and forth. I don't want to do it. Yes, I'm going to do it. I think it's going to go back and forth, but I think it'll be fine. But I think so far the season is going well, and I just hope to see music from these divas.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So now let's let everyone know where we can be found on social media before we wrap up.
You can find me at Twitter at All Eyes on Black, or Instagram ANT2
And as always, you can find me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Meg Scoop, like scoop of ice cream. Hit me up.
And you can find me at all social media at Bamm Ericsen. We want to thank you guys for tuning in to another episode here on AfterBuzz TV for R&B Divas LA Season 2. We'll see you guys next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.